In this video, we will show you how to set up Git. In this exercise, you will learn to install Git on your computer. Git is required for using all the remaining Node.js and Node-based tools that we encounter in the rest of the course. At the end of this exercise, you would be able to install Git on your computer, ensure that Git can be used from the command line or command prompt on your computer, set up some of the basic global configuration for Git. To install Git on your computer, go to https:/git-scm.com/downloads as shown in this video to download the Git installer for your specific computing platform. Then follow the installation steps as you install Git using the installer. Next, we will install Visual Studio Code. This will be our text editor for our codes in HTML, JavaScript, and the like. After installing Git and the Visual Studio Code, open the CMD window or terminal on your computer. In your CMD window, you go to Drive D and then type in the command git space double dash version. You should see the version number of your Git that is installed on your computer. This is the command that we use to make sure that Git is installed and available on the command line. Next is you have to configure your username to be used by Git. Type the following command: git config global space user.name and then specify your name. Next is to configure your email to be used by Git. Type in the following at the prompt: git config double dash global user.email and then specify your email address. Next, you can check your default Git global configuration. You can type the following command at the prompt: git config double dash list. You now have Git available on the command line of your computer. Next, we will use the basic Git commands. Next, go to Drive D and then create a folder named git-test. Open this git test folder in your favorite editor. In our case, we used Visual Studio Code. You have to open Visual Studio Code first and then click in this portion, No Folder Opened. Click on Open Folder and locate the Git test folder. Beside the Git test folder, click the icon beside it, which is how you add a new file, and name it index.html. Inside the index.html, type in the following codes. Save this file. And then next, we will initialize the folder as our Git repository. First, you go back to your CMD window and open the Git test folder using CMD command. To open the Git test folder, you have the command cd git-test. Here, to initialize the Git repository, type git the space init. Next, type the following command at the prompt to check your Git repository's status. The git status command displays the state of the working directory and the staging area. It lets you see which changes have been staged, which haven't, and which files aren't being tracked by Git. Status output does not show you any information regarding the committed project history. To add the index.html that we added in our Git test folder, which is our working directory, we need to add that file to the staging area. To add files to the staging area of your Git repository, type git add dot. Next, we can enter the command git status to see the status of our working directory. And we shall see that there are no commits yet. There are no changes saved to the staging area. And there are changes to be committed, which is the index.html file. To commit the current staging area to your Git repository, type git commit-m with the message first commit. Next, you can check the status of our Git. And here it says that nothing to commit and working tree is clean. It means nothing for new files has been changed and no files needs to be committed. To check the log of the commits to your Git repository, type git log _1 line. Now, modify the index.html file as follows. This is our index.html file. Add a paragraph tag. This is a paragraph. Save the file and add a subfolder named templates to your Git test folder, and then add a file named test.html. Here we add a subfolder named templates, and then inside templates we will add a new file named test.html. Then copy the contents of your index.html to test.html. Save your files and then check the status of your directory using git command git status. Here we see that the index.html is modified, as well as we have the templates folder to include in what we will be committed. Next, we will add all the files to the staging area. Git add dot. Next, we had the git status, and we'll see that there are changes to be committed, and those are the index.html and the new file test.html under the templates folder. Next, we'll do the second commit to your repository. Type the command git commit -m with the message second commit. Second commit shows us 2 files changed. Now, next we can check the log of the commits using the git log one line. Next, we'll modify the index.html file. We can also use the git space log to show the detailed log. Open your index.html and modify by adding another paragraph tag, which will say this is a second paragraph. Next, we will add this modified index.html file to the staging area. By using the git status, we see that there's index.html file that is modified. After modifying the file index.html, we can now add these changes by using the command git add space dot. Next, we do the third commit using git commit -m with the message third commit. Next, we can print the log using git log one line, and we can see that there's the third commit, the second commit, and the first commit. And it shows that the third commit is in the head master, which is now our current working environment, or which is now our current project. To check out the index.html from the second commit, find the number of the second commit using the git log, and then type the following at the prompt. Git checkout, then specify the second commit, which is, or the number of the second commit, and that is 5BD9643. And then type in the file that you want to open. That is index.html. Now you should see that index.html is reverted back to its state during the second commit, wherein there's only one paragraph in it. Take note that in the third commit we added the second paragraph. Now that we reverted back to the second commit, the index.html now shows the change that we did during the second commit. The index.html now shows the changes that we made during the second commit because of the checkout that we made for second commit. Now we can use the git status to check the changes to our file in this working directory. And it will show us that there are changes to be committed, and that's the index.html. You see here that we use git reset head index.html command. This is used to discard the effect on the previous operation and restore index.html to its state at the end of the third commit. After this command, index.html will show us the status of the index.html during the third commit, which has 2 paragraphs. And then we can use next here, we added git status, and it will show us that index.html has been changed and not staged for commit. Next, we added git checkout --index.html to open back the original index.html, which is the index.html during the third commit. Next, we have a git status command. Now it shows us that there are no changes because we opened back and reverted back the index.html to the third state or during the third commit. You can also use git reset to reset the staging area to the last commit without disturbing the working directory. As you see here, the index.html is reverted back to its state during the third commit. It now has, again, 2 paragraphs. as shown in line 7 and 8.